Hi guys, MrRoflWaffles here. There have been several huge buffs and nerfs actually in Cold War Zombies recently, and the health system's also been changed around a load, so I figured it's about time I made an update to my list of the 10 absolute best weapons in the game, so you guys can make sure you are slaying like a pro at all times. Now, I'm also super excited to share that this video is sponsored by the Call of Duty League, and having them support my channel is just a dream, to be honest. They wanted me to let you know that tickets for Champs are now on sale via the link in the description, so while you guys are going to become masters of zombies once you finish this video, you can also watch the pros do the same thing in person all weekend long if you pick up tickets. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, just real quick, Championship Weekend, August 19th to 22nd. It's at the Galen Center in LA. And basically the top 8 teams from the Call of Duty League this year will fight their way through playoffs, and then the finalists will go head to head on Championship Sunday. It's going to be pretty damn hype, and like I said, the tickets are in the description and they're limited too, so don't hesitate or you might miss out on catching this piece of CDL history. Now, one thing you will not see in the CDL, you will never see in the CDL, is the absolute enigma of a weapon that is number 10 in our list. A selection I never really expected to include, but honestly, I have to because it's best in class and it really deserves the love. And so I present to you all number 10, the ETool. At face value, it's a shovel, and I guess that's pretty cool. I mean, maybe it's no more cool than the Wazakashi or a baseball bat, but when you dig into the actual stats of how this thing behaves in the game, it's just in another league to everything else. It's really weird in that regard, and it wouldn't have made the list before the most recent Zombies health system change, because no melee weapons would have done, because they all kind of sucked in that meta. But now, when the max zombie health is like 60k-ish, and this can do more than that in one swing when you max upgrade it and max rarity it, it's honestly a phenomenal weapon to have in your arsenal, especially due to the fact that Mule Kick is in the game now, and so you can have a wonder weapon, you can have a bullet weapon, and you can have this as your third weapon, meaning that all your melees are just going to be crazy powerful and one hit whatever's in front of you. And I mean, it's just smart, man. It's a smart thing to have in your inventory as you play. Now, I know the ETool also has kind of a cult following, like Lego's really big on it. I was talking to him about it before I made this video, and I don't want to anger those people. Like, please don't raise your pitchforks, or don't raise your ETools, I should be saying, just yet. But I do want to just clarify one little thing about this, and that's that it does have a, roughly speaking, 50% faster swing speed compared to the regular knife, which sounds incredible on paper, and you'd think would therefore mean 50% more kill power, really, but it doesn't really work like that in practice, because think about it, right? You're knifing the zombies in front of you, and when you're knifing, you don't just continuously knife at max speed. You have to run up to the zombie. You have to get there. You have to wait for another to spawn in. You have to sort of maneuver around so you don't get swiped too much. There are all those factors that come into play. And so where I think this really shines is not in the situations where you can kill more zombies in a shorter window of time, because it's still a melee weapon. It's still a little awkward to do that. But where it does shine is that when you're getting those kills and you're doing that in game, you're much less likely to be lingering around the zombies for as much time because your swing is so much faster. And so you're much less likely to take damage while you're doing that. And also there's no crazy lunge, so you're more likely to be able to escape from situations and just generally be more kind of fluid in your gameplay compared to the regular. So ETool, get it unlocked and get swinging, because this one is a really cool weapon. Now, my pick for number 9 might be controversial, but I'm doing it for good reason, okay? I know that the KSP should probably be somewhere on this list because it's hella strong, but the KSP feels like ass. It just does. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I am wrong, guys. And so this particular entry to the list is not based on, oh, this gun has the max DPS in the entire universe, and actually is just based on feel instead. It's none other than the Krig. It hits pretty hard to the head. It doesn't have a crazy high fire rate, but it does have a lot of ammo in reserve, so you can just chug away firing into the zombies. And it has the added bonus that if your name's Formal or Arcetes or something, and you're a pro CDL player, you're already going to know this gun like the back of your hand. You're going to have all the attachments unlocked for it, and you're going to feel right at home, even though there are zombies running at you instead of other CDL players. So overall, if you're looking for just pure DPS, then literally ignore everything I've said in the last minute and just go for the KSP instead. But otherwise, maybe give this a go someday. downtime. Next up, number 8. This is another one that I think has a little bit of a kind of cult following in the community. Some people are crazy about this, whereas others have never even bothered to unlock it, or they see its reload and they just kind of throw up in their mouths a little bit. And from that comment alone, you should be able to guess I'm talking about the Street Sweeper. Now, before you roll your eyes and you think, oh man, I mean, I could just never sit through that reload, so I'm not even interested, and you skip forward to the next gun, give me a second here, let me explain, okay? So the pros of this weapon are that it can dump down a huge amount of damage all at once when you have got it reloaded. In those moments, it is really fun to use. It's got like complete horde killing potential, and it feels great. It feels nice and chunky. It's a really solid weapon. The reload is the problem that we're all aware of, but things are different now in Cold War Zombies because Mule Kick exists. And so what I recommend you do is you grab a Street Sweeper and you use it as a secondary or third weapon. You put either Shatter Blast or Brain Rot on it, one of the longer cooldown AATs, and then what you do in your game is you're using your primary weapon, but then you see an elite maybe, or you see just a bunch of zombies and you want to quickly take them all down. You switch to the Street Sweeper, you dump a huge amount of damage into them all at once because that's what this gun does. You also proc your long cooldown AAT while that's happening, so your brain rotted zombie, for example, might start running around or whatever, and then you don't reload it. This is the key difference now. You rely on the fact that Mule Kick skill tier number 3 means that your stowed weapons refill ammo from stock, and so you just switch back to whatever other gun you're using and use that for 30 seconds or so, and then boom, you can switch back to the Street Sweeper later on when you need to do a big damage dump, and situationally, it will be incredibly powerful. It will just nuke whatever is in front of you. Personally, I don't have the patience to use this thing as a primary weapon. The reload is just too long, but in this particular use case, I think it really shines. Number 7, the Grozer. I don't have a big brain strategy for this one like I do with the Street Sweeper. This one is just generally a kind of solid and reliable pick, and it's a pretty interesting weapon to compare to other ARs, because the way these guns work, right, is you've got your base damage, which is just a 1x multiplier, and then you have a crit multiplier, and for the AR weapon category, you've got a handful of guns that have lower crit multipliers and a handful that have higher. The Grozer is in the lower crit multiplier category, which sounds like a bad thing, but actually it isn't, because at base, it does so much damage. It's actually got the second highest DPS at base across all of the ARs, and so the lower crit multiplier is just compensating for the fact that it's already so strong, and when you do crit with it, it still does more damage than I think all but 2 other ARs. So the Grozer is a really good all-rounder. I highly recommend. Next up, number 6, the AMP 63. This is not one you want to sleep on. It's honestly something that you should try out just for the sake of fun, and also try out for the sake of, oh my god, the damage. It's essentially an SMG, but you can akimbo it because it's not an SMG, which is amazing. And when you do akimbo it, it ends up having higher DPS than most other weapons in the game. It's a really good one to rock with max upgraded speed cola, and it's also one you're going to want to make sure you have a custom blueprint set up for, because I don't think the random attachment like re-rolling in the armor station will give you it akimbo. So you can save yourself any concern on that front by just making sure that you've got a custom mod for it. It's phenomenal. It'll last you all the way through to mid-game and kind of reliable at higher rounds as well. And it's also okay at taking down elites, although I would probably avoid using this on a panzer where possible. Instead, it's better saved for those situations where you can barrel stuff a zombie in the forehead, making sure that all your shots are hitting, because even without any crit multiplier, just at base, this thing has some of the highest DPS in the game, and it's only going to keep that DPS if you actually hit your shots. It's one of the most fun guns to use in the game, so give it a go, guys. Don't sleep on this one. Next up, we've got number 5, and it's the AK-74U. Now, interestingly, I think that many of you guys will probably already have a reactive camo that you've purchased for this because of the fact that it came with the Samantha skin. So straight off the bat, that's a pretty cool thing to be able to have, a zombie's reactive camo. Although I'm not going to lie, it's kind of underwhelming. So Treyarch, if you could buff this so that the point I'm making here makes more sense, that would be amazing. Thanks. It is a good gun as well, though. It doesn't just look pretty, and it's also really mobile. I mean, it's an SMG, right? So you don't have all that sluggishness when you're moving around. And surprisingly, you might think that a gain in speed would lead to a loss of DPS, for example. But that's not actually the case. To the body, this has a higher DPS than all of the ARs in the game. And to the head, the only AR that it's weaker than is the FFAR. And with that in mind, it's no wonder that this is also one of those weapons that is the top of the food chain in the CDL. You've got all the AR players using their Krigs and all the SMG players using their 74Us. As a result of basically all of the above, it's pretty much a staple of the Black Ops Cold War ecosystem at this point, and it's a really reliable weapon, so the 74U gets a double thumbs up. Next up, we've got a pretty exciting one, the Diamattis. Yes, I'm saying Diamatti plural here because we're not going to be using it solo, we're going to be going akimbo straight away with this, and just like the AMP 63, when akimbo, these have some of the highest DPS in the entire game. They're incredibly incredibly strong because of that burst damage and can kill stuff really quick as a result. And to kind of illustrate that, one burst from both pistols at health cap will kill the zombie if you hit every single bullet. It's also an interesting one because it's in the Mauer Totem spawn, and it's really near the spawn in D Machine, and it's blue on the wall in D Machine. So you can very quickly get a rarity upgrade and then just whack on your custom mod blueprint and get all your attachments back and get it akimbo specifically, and then start just shredding in your game. I don't, to be honest, have that much more to say about them. If you guys have any pro strats for your Diamattis, then please drop them in the comment section down below. But for now, I just say use them. They're great. Let's move on to number 3, the Hauer. I think it's the best shotgun in the game. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I really, truly believe that. In certain situations, maybe the Street Sweeper's better as like a third weapon. In other situations, or more so for other players, you might be a bit more comfortable with the Gallo because you can spray it a bit more easily. But when you look at things on the whole, it just is the best. It is the only shotgun that is going to one-shot past health cap, and leading up to health cap, it's going to be an incredible asset to your arsenal. And some people will argue, well, it doesn't have the highest DPS, the Gallo has higher DPS, etc. And that may well be true, but DPS kind of means nothing when the main thing that you're doing in the game is shooting regular zombies, and the Gallo is going to take longer to kill that zombie than the Hauer is because it's going to do it in 2 shots instead of 1. Yes, if you're laying into a boss, maybe the Gallo is going to be able to do more damage in a shorter amount of time. That's fine. But for those situations, you got to remember 2 things. One is that you're doing that much less frequently than just taking out zombies, which is what we really predominantly care about. And 2, if you're having to shoot multiple times to take something down, you're going to lose that deadshot bonus, whereas the Hauer doing it in 1 is going to get the deadshot bonus, and then you're going to switch target, and you're going to get the deadshot bonus over and over again. It also very conveniently has a wall buy in the destroyed penthouse on Mauer Totem, so you can get free rarity upgrades there. And so, kind of a foregone conclusion, but Hauer makes the top 3 spot on our list, and the Gallo is not actually on the list. I just didn't bother to include it. So I wonder what number 1 is. Well, let's talk about number 2 first. It's the M16. I've already made a full class breakdown video for this weapon because of just how good it is, which I'll link in the description and on screen right now, by the way, if you want to click through to it. But for those of you that haven't seen that yet, basically this thing is like a shotgun at long range. You're going to do 13k plus damage per headshot with max upgrades. And this is even crazier with the M16 compared to other burst weapons in the game, because when you pack a punch it, the M16 gets 6 bullets in its burst instead of its base 3. So this means you can do 13k damage per headshot in a 6-round burst at pretty much any range, and it's actually going to get a bonus to its damage when you're at range because of these skill tier upgrades for tac rifles, and it's got a wall buy in the ghost station if you happen to want to buy it off the wall. And so the reason it's so high up the list here is it's just such a good all-round weapon. Good at close range if you want to use it like a shotgun, just hip fire the dang thing. It's great at distance, it's got a fantastic ammo capacity, it just does everything super well, and it's really never going to let you down. With that said, I would definitely check to make sure you're using the correct attachments on it, because if you don't use the right attachments, it is significantly weaker. For now though, that's everything I have to say about the M16. Let's move on to our number 1 spot. This has been in the oven for a little while. You know, the anticipation has been building. I'm sure you're wondering, Milo, if you've already crossed off all of these best-in-class weapons, the Hauer, the Diamattis, the M16, what on earth are you gonna pick for number 1? But dear viewer, don't worry, okay? I've come prepared today with a wild card, a sleeper pick that I don't think you truly understand the potential of just yet, but that will honestly make a huge difference to any game you play. You don't need to spawn in with it. It's always available. It's always there for you. It's none other than number 1, the Semtex grenade. Yes, I'm doing it, guys. It's the GOAT of all equipment. It explodes almost instantly and deletes everything that doesn't have first name Krasny, last name Soldat. It doesn't self-inflict very much splash damage, so if you need to use it to get out of a sticky situation, you can. You can just craft it, and it's cheap as hell. And if you have Mule Kick upgraded, you can get 2 for 1 when you craft it, and you have a chance to keep 1 every time you throw it, and they're just on the ground for free? Honestly, it's charity. It's pure charity that Treyarch are dropping these to the player when they're so powerful. The fact that they nuke everything around you means they're also super satisfying to use. They will one hit all the way through and past health cap, which is amazing. They didn't do that previously when the other health cap was in place, but they do now. And overall, they just deserve more love. So Treyarch, if you're listening to this right now and you think, yeah, that guy sounds a bit euphoric, he's too jubilant right now, don't you dare spoil my fun and nerf the hell out of them, okay? Let me live, Treyarch. You already took away my PhD PhD flopper, don't take away this too. Let me live. So, in conjunction with everything else on this list, you're going to end up with a really powerful arsenal of weapons that you guys can be using. So go become the pro players that I know you all have the potential to be. Use all of these tips that I've given you. And remember, tickets for champs in the description, guys. We've got Major 5 coming up, which is also on LAN and has fans in attendance. So there's no doubt going to be some rivalries formed there. Lots of smack talk happening, just like the good old days. You can obviously get all the info you need about all of this stuff via the link in the description below. Thanks again to the CDL for sponsoring the video, and thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope the tips have been useful, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.